Good afternoon and welcome to BroadCAST, the webinar interview series from the UNL Center for Academic Success and Transition. I'm your host, Dan Hutt, and we couldn't be more delighted to have with us today former Major League Baseball player and current color commentator from the Kansas City Royals TV broadcast, Mr. Rex Hudler. Mr. Hudler, it's a great honor to have you with us today.
Dan, yes, I'm so excited to get a chance to share with you the future of our world right out there that everybody's listening, man. I can't believe it. Technology is a radical thing. I'm 62 years young, but man, some of this stuff is way over my head.
You and me both, sir. Absolutely. Very good.
To be with you guys today.
Excellent. Well, let's start off. We'd like to know what was high school like for you, and what was it like growing up in Fresno? Did you always imagine that you would become a professional athlete?
Yeah, back in elementary school, I was in the fourth grade, and we wrote our papers to our teachers and what we wanted to do, and like everybody does, and I told and wrote I want to be a professional athlete, and I didn't care what sport, and I didn't know what sport. I was only in the fourth grade, but I know even back in the elementary school, I dominated recess and I dominated PE, two of my favorite subjects of all time. And so I was competitive. I loved any sport and every sport. And then, my parents were real disciplinarians, which ended up being good for me. Knowing manners, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, those kind of things helped me as I evolved and grew. And once I got to high school, I was a three-sport player. I played soccer, baseball, and football, and enjoyed all of them. My first sport I ever started was soccer. Soccer developed my legs, my quickness, my leg strength, my speed, my agility, moving my feet. And then I evolved into the other sports as I grew up. Now, my mom she didn't want me to play football till I was in high school, so I started playing football my freshman year and loved football. That was competitive. I loved the physicality. That was a lot of fun.
Sam of Grand Island would like to know, did you love baseball or football more growing up?
Yeah, well, so my junior season, actually going into my senior year, my mom said, son, it looks like you're going to have a career in something, but you're playing three sports. You need to eliminate one of them. And I go, so you can be great in one or two. You want to be great in you're playing too many. So I said, Mom, there's not a big future in soccer. This was 1978. Wasn't a big future in Major League Soccer then. So I focused on baseball and football. And I played football, and I was recruited. I had 40-something football scholarship offers. I got to take my 5 visits. I went to Notre Dame, Michigan State, Arizona State, a couple others. And I decided on Notre Dame, because they were world champions in '77 in the Super Bowl or in the Cotton Bowl. So I was like, man, I'll take your scholarship, Mr. Devine. And so I accepted my scholarship, and now I'm going to go play baseball at the end of the season and just have fun. My last year I'm ever playing baseball again. So I was blessed. I had a great baseball season. I was a Triple Crown winner, and now the phone is ringing off the wall. Back then we didn't have cell phones in, so my mom would pick up the phone and it would be a team saying, hey, your kid has a chance to be drafted in one of the top picks of the country. Will he sign, or was he going to college? My mom said, don't waste your pick. He's going to college. So all the major league teams, the kind of word got out that I wasn't draft eligible. I mean, I was, but I wouldn't sign. So I come home the day of the draft from school. I get home at 3:00. I walk in the door. I said, Mom, did anybody call? She goes, yeah, the damn Yankees drafted you. I said, wow, Mom, they won the World Series last year too, and that's a pretty good team. What'd you tell them? I told them they wasted their pick. That's what my mom said. She told the Yankees that it was a waste. And so I go, wow, way to go. So eventually the Yankees called. They sent Al Rosen, the president of the New York Yankees, and I was George Steinbrenner's first draft pick, first number 1 pick. And he was the great owner of the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
And the 18th pick overall in the first round. And so he sent out his president and his top people and said, just sign him. So I remember my mom sent me out. She sent me out to go get a pizza and said, I don't want you involved in the negotiations. I said, yes, ma'am, I will. I'll go. I'll come back. Came back in 45 minutes. My front door was locked. I knocked on my own front door, and my mom opened the door, and she goes, congratulations, son. You're a Yankee. So my mom negotiated with the New York Yankees all by herself because I couldn't have an agent. It would have ruined my eligibility for college football. So I ended up signing with the New York Yankees and basically kissed my football career, my Notre Dame scholarship, kissed all that away and put all my chips into baseball and then became a baseball player.
That must have been an incredible negotiation for your mom to flip like that and go away from the college pathway and now embrace your baseball future.
She wanted to use football as leverage for negotiations. So she goes, hey, my son's this is a great scholarship. You're going to have to overpay him to get him out of that scholarship. So she stood firm, and I ended up signing a $150,000 signing bonus. And in 1978, that was big money.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that I'm going to be a big leaguer. I wandered. And I chased. I did what young people do. They chase the world. They chase fat. They chase alcohol. They chase women. They chase drugs. Everything that a young person experiences is what I went through. But I was very spiritual growing up. I knew the Lord. My mom took me to church. That was a huge upbringing for me. And I truly believe that God opened those doors for me. I wasn't that great an athlete. That I had Notre Dame and I had the New York Yankees, two of the best teams in the world that wanted me. That was God's plan. But then once I signed my contract, I put him on the shelf and I said, hey, God, I got this myself. I'll see you in the big leagues. And he went, go ahead. Good luck. And I went into dead end after dead end after dead end, realizing that he was my guiding force. And for me, I had no power to guide myself. None.
Yeah. Was it both exciting and also a little bit scary going across the country to Oneonta, New York, I think is the pronunciation. Yeah. And then Fort Lauderdale after that to begin your pro career?
The Yankees flew me from Fresno, California to New York City to meet the boss. He wanted to meet me.
Okay.
So fortunately, my mom taught me firm handshakes, eye contact, because first impressions are huge. They're big when you're meeting people. They might not like you that first impression because maybe you dead fished them. Maybe you didn't shake your hand strong. Maybe you were looking down when you weren't looking at them. Those kind of things sometimes won't get you hired. But eye contact, firm handshake, and that's what I did to Mr. Steinbrenner. Thank you, sir. Hope to help you win another championship, sir. I really appreciate you drafting me. I'm looking forward to a future in a championship year. And come on in, Rex. And all I said the whole meeting was, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, no, sir. It turns out 7 years later, I stayed with the Yankees for 7 years. He traded me, and he wrote me a letter and told me why he traded me and that he appreciated my hustle, the way I played for the Yankees, the way I played, my style, my manners. He goes, you exemplified a great deal what it meant to wear the pinstripes. Thank you. I'm going to move you on now because I don't think I think you'll be an everyday player with the Baltimore Orioles. And so found out that he liked me because of that first impression. He took care of me. I had a starting job. He would call me aside in spring training when he came to camp. So there was favor there, no doubt. And it wasn't because I was that great a player, but he liked my personality.
Sure, and your tenacity, no doubt. Now, speaking of letters, I want to get to a story that I heard you tell once on WHB 810 to Stephen and Nate Bucati on there about how when you started off with the Yankees and you were sent back to Single A from spring training for the 6th time, which caused you to clean out your locker and decide that you were done with all this baseball stuff. But then you changed your mind and decided not to do that. And you wrote Mr. Steinbrenner a letter about your situation. What a great story. I wonder if you'd tell that story now.
Oh, I'd love to. 6 years in A-ball, the same league, Florida State League. And I was hitting 300, and I couldn't believe that I went back there again. But George Steinbrenner bought all of his free agent baseball players. So he always bought the top players. he didn't use his minor league system to bring guys up. So
Mhm.
we were always log jam. Well, here I am going, oh my gosh. So I asked my manager, his name was Stump Merrill. I said, Stumpy, I'm going to write George a letter. What do you think about that? He goes, wow, you are? I go, yes, sir. I'm going to ask him for a promotion. Okay. He goes, make it short. And so I said, okay, because we're getting ready to go to the Bay Harbor Inn. That's a hotel in Tampa, Florida that he owned. And he would let his minor league players stay there when we were in town and pay for everything. So I took the letter, dear Mrs. Steinbrenner, I'm presently in my 6th year in the Florida State League. I would have already graduated from Notre Dame and started my pro football career already by now. I don't understand what's going on. I'm presently hitting 300. Could you please consider a promotion for me? All my best, Rex Hudler. And I took the letter and I gave it to the lady at the front desk at the Bay Harbor Inn Hotel. And I said, ma'am, when Mr. Steinbrenner, when he gets this letter, would you, or when he gets in town, would you give this to him? She goes, he's here. I'll take it up to him. So I was like, oh my gosh. So my booty got a little tight. Like, oh, I didn't expect him to be there. Maybe sometime later in the summer he would come by, but he was there. I go to the ballpark that night in St. Petersburg, Florida, and there he is in the stands sitting with my manager, Stump Merrill, George Steinbrenner, and just he in the stands. And I'm playing catch out there in the outfield, and I'm watching. I see these guys up there in the stands, and I'm going, oh, my gosh. Oh, man. So my stomach started getting really worked up. I didn't expect him to have the letter and be at the ballpark that day that I did that. And so their meeting was over. My manager, Stump Merrill, comes out of the stands, and he goes, and I said, hey, did he say anything about the letter? And Stumpy was chewing. He had a big chew of tobacco. And he's chewing. And he spit. And he goes, yeah, kid. He loved it. Ow. So I was relieved. And then so I played for him that night, got a couple of hits as he watched in the stands. We bust back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And at 6 o'clock the next morning, the phone rang and they said, you're going to AAA.
Wow.
So he got my letter. He liked me. He liked me anyway from the very beginning. And then to have the courage to write the owner of the New York Yankees a letter and ask him for a promotion, he liked it. He said, bam, you're going not to AA, you're going to AAA. And so I'm on my way on the airplane there on the flying to Columbus, Ohio, which was a great stop for me. That's where I met my wife, the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my baseball career. And telling myself, if you pop off to a guy like that, you better be able to back it up. If you don't back it up, you're in trouble. So I used that as motivation. I went up and hit 300. And so Steinbrenner not only gave me one chance in baseball, he gave me another chance. And then from there on is when I became a guy and moved on, and they traded me because they were going to keep Willie Randolph.
You never looked back after that, did you?
Never, because you can't afford to look back.
Yeah.
Every year there's a high school crop of guys that come out, college crop trying to take your job at the professional level. So, man, you don't have any time to look back. You need to look forward and continue to believe in your beliefs of you being a Major League Baseball player. And that's what I did. I moved forward. I kept playing hard. And then after 10 years of minor league baseball, man, here I was a number 1 pick. And now all of a sudden I'm a nobody. The Orioles, they let me go. And now I'm a minor league free agent. And I'm like, wow, where was that big league career? Now, I had cups of coffee, so I'd been to the big leagues already, but no kind of career. And then that's when I got back on my knees and I said, hey, God, can you help me in my life? I need to find a wife. I need to settle my life down. I'm tired of running, chasing, doing all the things the world says is great. It was a lie. It was a complete lie. So I knew where I could get my source. And you know what God said when I asked him for help? He said, nice to hear from you again, kid. Hey, I've been here waiting for you the whole time. You're the one who left. You went away. But yeah, I can help find you a wife. So he lifted Jennifer up and I saw her and I went, whoa, God, she's beautiful. And she's got a good heart. You got great taste, God. Man, all right. He goes, it's up to you to catch her. I found her for you. Now you catch her. So I proposed to Jennifer. We got married. I kept training hard. I told her, hey, look, I don't have a lot right now. We don't have a lot, but I'm going to get 10 years in the majors with your help and with God's help. I'm going to get 10 years in the majors. So stay with me. And she went, okay, let's go. And the next season, 1988, I started my journey. They called me up to Montreal Expos. I went with a brand new team, and I never went back to the minors. 10 straight years in the major leagues, and it's because I honored God. I asked Him to help me, but you have to ask. He's not going to just do it. So you have to have faith and believe in yourself and continue to work. Work is no replacement if you're going to be the best. And so I was able to get my 10 years in, man, and so grateful. And we'll be married 35 years in October, me and Jennifer, this coming October.
That is awesome. Congratulations. That's really something.
Thank you. Now go ahead. And I have a tendency because I talk for a living and I tell stories that I could tell my whole life story in 5 minutes. So I'll pause and let you get some questions in. But man, it's fun sharing that journey because that's what it was, a journey.
You bet. Well, thank you. We love those stories. Those stories are priceless. So absolutely. Now, does your faith, is that really at the basis of all of your tenacity and dedication and unwavering enthusiasm? Tessa of Omaha and Minna of Lincoln would like to know how you cope when the going gets tough. And I talk a lot with my brother Chris about this point too, Mr. Hudler. And as someone myself who suffers from chronic depression, we marvel at how you always seem to be on. You're just unwaveringly enthusiastic. Where does that come from? And do you ever have a bad day?
Enthusiasm, enthuo in Greek, means of God. Look it up. I have enthusiasm. I have passion. I have energy. And I have hope because my hope is in God and in the Lord, not me. Mm-hmm. So when you hope for things unseen, which is the greatest thing ever, you don't have to worry about what's going on the earth here in the elections and who runs the country and politics. And you don't have to concern yourself with that and get all worked up. He doesn't want that. The opposing enemy that's on earth, he wants that. He wants you to get anxiety. He wants you to have anxiety and have problems, But for me, and to answer your question, Dan, yes, my faith gives me strength, and I know exactly why I'm here. I ask Him to put me where He wants me. He opens doors. He opens doors. After my baseball career and during my career, whenever I was at the end of a contract somewhere, I didn't know. I had no control in baseball. You're a piece of property. You're a commodity in baseball. They trade you. They move you as they see fit. Mm-hmm. You're a business piece. You're a pawn. So I had no control over anything. So when my contract's up, what do? I ask God, put me where you want me next. And that relieves me from worrying about anything because I have faith in a master and a God who does great things and moves mountains. He makes, he does everything. He's the creator of our universe. He created me. So why wouldn't I ask Him? So at the end of my baseball career, same thing. I would say, okay, God, what's next now? He goes, I got a special plan for you. And then we had just given birth to our first child. My first boy. And his name is Cade, and he had what the world calls Down syndrome. So I wasn't upset about having a child with Down syndrome, a kid with a disability. I was more like, wow, thank you, God. How's this going to work? He says, accept him like you would accept a present. You accept him. I got great plans for you. He's going to enhance your life. He's not going to bring your life down. And I got great plans ahead, Hud. You can't see it, but I'm gonna put you in a place where I want you to encourage parents and encourage other people that have a disability. And I want you to be a source of encouragement. And I went, wow, okay, great. Lord, what's next? The Angels called. This was in May of 1988. And they said, we want you to be our broadcaster next year. Out of nowhere. I'm in Philadelphia. And the phone rings. It's in May. And it's the Angels saying, we want you to be our broadcaster. Sparky Anderson was the broadcaster there, a great Hall of Fame manager, and he didn't want to do them anymore. So they asked me if I would be the guy. And I went, wow, really? What a great opportunity. I never thought about my future and how it was going to happen. But yeah, And so I called them. I said, I've never done it before. They go, we know that. We're a little concerned about your personality. We know you're out there sometimes, Hud, but we think that you have a chance to be a really good broadcaster for our team. And I went, wow. So we took it, we went there, and we loved on people, just like we do now. 11 years with the Angels. They called me in after one meeting. One off season in the 2009 season in the winter, and said, hey, we don't need you on radio. We don't need you on TV anymore. The meeting lasted less than 30 seconds. So what did I do? They started to get up. That's body language for the meeting's over. And I went, oh, whoa, wait, guys. Let me tell you, thank you. Thank you for giving me 11 years as a broadcaster for your team. We won a world championship in 2002. This has been a beautiful thing for me. Great start in my future. I just want to say thank you. And so they were shaking their heads, but that's how I left every team that ever let me go. I always took the high road. I never would say, you never played me. Man, blank you and blah, 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 blah. No, that never came out of my mouth because it wasn't in my heart.
Uh-huh.
What you put in your heart is what comes out when you're confronted. If you're putting the fruits of the Spirit in your heart, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. If you're putting that in, now I don't have all of those all the time, but I'm putting a lot of that in my heart. So when I'm confronted in the world, what comes out? Love, thankfulness, being appreciated. Hey, thank you. When you're point blank by a manager saying, we're going to send you back to the minors, you're not good enough, or we're trading you to another team. Always said thankful. I had a thankful heart. Always said thank you. Same way with the Angels. And so a couple of years, so I'm leaving Angel Stadium that day after I just got let go, fired, whatever you want to call it. And so I asked God, what's next? He goes, you've been making baseball a little bit too much of a priority in your life. I want you to focus on me and what I gave you. 4 kids and a beautiful wife. And I went, really? I can do that? No problem. So for 2 years, I was out of baseball. And he told me through the Holy Spirit in my heart, that's how he speaks to me and others at times, I'll let you know when you can have baseball back. Because he knew I was a baseball freak and I love baseball.
Yeah.
Too much. That's why I got let go. So 2 years go by. We're in Orange County. I got no job. And if you're in a high priced area like that and you're not making any income, my wife goes, hey, Hud, we're getting into your baseball savings now. You need to find a job. And I went, really? She goes, I know you like not working. And I said, man, I'm not working. I could help my kids. I was their little league coach. So all those things were fun. And so, but now I searched my heart. What do I want to do next? Do I want to go back on the field and be a coach or a manager? I could probably do that. No, I love broadcasting. Broadcasting to me is the second best job in the world. Playing was my goal. Playing was my dream. He allowed me to do that for as long as I could, 21 seasons. And so now I love sharing the game with the people. I love, trying to encourage young people and anybody that would be listening to a broadcast. So God, could you please find me another team? So I prayed that with my little boys. I had 2 boys in bunk beds. And then I would pray, God, I sure love broadcasting. I know there's a team out there. There's only 30 jobs in the country, in the world.
Yeah.
They're hard to get. And then in broadcasting, they call you. You don't call them. They call you. That's the kind of business that is. So who calls? The Kansas City Royals out of nowhere. The Royals called and said, hey, we want you to be our broadcaster. And I said, what? Man, are you kidding? You have 30 ex-players that live in Kansas City. I know that. Why would you call me in Southern California when you got guys right there? The owner of the team, Mr. David Glass, liked you as a player with the Cardinals. He liked the way you hustled, the way you played. And he watched your games with the Angels when our games were over. Your games on the West Coast were 2 hours ahead or behind us, and we watched your games, and he loved your broadcasting too. He liked your energy. And he said, if that guy's available, let's get him. He has experience. We want experience, and he has energy.
Yeah.
He has positive energy. We want him here. And so I was like, okay, then if you're offering me the job, I'm coming. Now they said it won't be easy for you because we're in the Midwest here, small market. They don't want anybody from New York or Los Angeles taking any of their jobs, especially any of their high priority jobs, like being a Royals broadcaster.
Yeah.
And the great Frank White was there.
Right.
He's Mr. Royal. He grew up.
Yep.
He's one of their iconic players. 8-time Gold Glove winner, world champion. He was the broadcaster before me, and they had some kind of falling out, and that's when they called me, and they were right. It was very difficult. The social media killed me, and here I am, a grown man, and my daughter was with me. She went to KU right at the same time I accepted the job there for Kansas City, and I was reading the social media what they were saying about me. Ooh, it was nasty. It was really nasty, and it was hurt, and it was hurtful. And she's laughing, and I'm going, no way. So I understand what social media could do to young people's mind. It could be destroying. Why would you be on it? I told her, I don't want to read this anymore. So I stopped reading what people were saying about me and kept believing in who I was. And
was that hard?
Yeah, because there were arrows being shot over my head.
Yeah.
Nothing but hate. And people saying, who is this guy? We don't like, and the Royals lost their 10 first home games, all of them. They went 0-10, and then people were blaming me. There was airplanes flying over Kauffman Stadium saying, we want Frank back. People had signs in the stands saying, we don't like this guy. Very hurtful. It was rough. So
that had to be tough.
Yeah, so I'm hearing, boy, I'm going to keep my head down on my pillow at night. Shoo, 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 shoo. Arrows of hate, and I feel it. And I said, God, are you sure? Ooh, and I should have never questioned him, because he said, shake yourself. You get out of bed. You go. I called you here. This is when I open doors, I fling them open. I open them wide. I don't crack doors and say, oh, maybe. When I led you here, I flung the door open. You go and be who I made you to be. You go out there and you get your baseball cards out in front of their stadium and you pass out your cards like a politician. And you tell them I'm your new broadcaster. And you're here, Hud, because I brought you here. So 12 years later, we're still here in a World Series championship in 15, which is amazing. So I'm sharing all these things with you young people in hopes that maybe you'll choose the right way, and that's not your way.
Mm-hmm.
He gives you thoughts in your heart to what you want to do in the future, but you got to ask him for it and then believe it and be prepared to work hard. If you're going to be one of the best at it in the world, you're going to have to work.
What was your impression of the Kansas City Royals organization before you joined?
Well, I knew they were good people because Kevin Uhlich was the president of the team, and he's the one who called me. And ironically, he's the one who hired me with the Angels.
Okay.
That works. It's a people business. It's who knows you. It goes back to first impressions, firm handshakes, eye contact, things like that. And if you make a good impression, they don't forget you. You'll have another chance. And I'll tell you what, Kansas City, they treat you like family. They treated me great, and they knew I wasn't a Royal. And it's rare for a color commentator, not just because I have red hair, but a color commentator who tells you how and why during a baseball game. Very unusual for that player not to have played for that organization.
Right.
Fan base, you want them to know you. So it was only God can do things like that, but he does things like that. And so it's been wonderful, looking forward, moving forward, raising kids. That's a whole different ball game. But for 7 years, Dan, before Jennifer and I started having kids, I wanted to bond our relationship. I wanted to bond. And when I asked God for a wife, I knew he could pick her out. I came from a broken home. I was 8 years old and I got adopted. Me and my two brothers. And there was some hurt involved with that. And there was some, what did I do wrong? My dad's given up on me. So I knew that God could pick a woman for me, that if I was good to her, that she would be there my whole life. And he knew that. That's why he searched and he found her. And that's why I asked him. I believed. So it's all about having faith and moving forward with tenacity, moving forward with positivity and enthusiasm and being a light for others. You know, and in my years, over 40 years in professional baseball now, in the life that I've lived, I got a worldly degree. I gave up my Notre Dame degree for a worldly degree.
You sure have. Absolutely.
I know how to handle situations, negative things that happen to me too. Man, I give them to him. I give it to him and say, God, this is bigger than me. I can't take this. Will you take this from me? And will you help me move forward? And he says, you got it, Hud. That's the whole name of the game. That's why I sent my son. That's why I sent him here. And that's why he died on the cross for you and me. And so we'd have forgiveness and we'll move forward. So yeah, I'm not a preacher by any means. I'm an alpha male, aggressive ex-ball player turned lover of baseball and broadcasting and having so much fun sharing the game every night. We just lost our 100th game yesterday. 100, and we're on pace for the worst team that I've ever been a part of in my history as a player or broadcaster. But does that change my walk and my outlook of how I come to the ballpark every day? No, because I'm thankful for the job. I'm thankful for the position, being in the major leagues, and thankful for failure. Watching these kids fail. I failed. Baseball's hard. A lot of failure in your life. How do you handle failure? I learned how to handle failure by keeping my head up and looking for the next opportunities and carrying myself like I'm hitting 300 and we're in first place. That's what I do when I go to the ballpark every day. So people look at me and go, wow, why are you like you are? Why shouldn't I be? Man, I love my job. I got a God that loves me. I worship him. I got a beautiful wife. Look, why shouldn't I be happy?
You're a master broadcaster.
And I never had a real job. I mean, I went home and worked in the off seasons when I was a ball player to make it through and just pay my bills. But it's about being appreciative. It's about being thankful. It's about appreciating your opportunities that you have. And when you give him thanks, he loves that. He's like, oh man, yeah. So it's about a perspective of life that you get and you gain from failure. You know, I don't when I was failing, I don't walk around with my head like this. Body language is so important. In baseball, it's the premium language spoken. Body language. So I don't walk around like this when you fail or when I go 0 for 4. I walk like this. I keep my head up so I can see where I'm going. I see where I'm going. It's positive body language. And people feed off of that. They see it. I could see it against my opponents when I was on the baseball field. I didn't know them. We didn't talk. Body language was the premium language spoken in baseball. So I would watch the guy, how he carried himself. I could tell if a pitcher was bumming out. I could tell, and I fed off of that.
I wonder if your sensitivity to that. I know that you're involved with yoga, for instance, and body language is front and center in that exercise. I'm starting to connect some dots here that way.
Yes. But I did yoga because I took 10 years off after my playing career. 21 years of playing, I needed a break. I didn't want to train anymore. So I hung out with my kids and did stuff and didn't go to the gym or anything. So 10 years of not doing that, I got a little soft. Look, I'm in my 40s, you know, and 50s, and so I got tired of that. So my friend Jose Mota took me. He's a broadcaster for the Dodgers now. He took me to Bikram hot yoga. And I went there, and it's 105 in the room. It's 90 minutes, and it was really hard. Oh, my gosh. It was like, what? It was like torture. 105 in the room, and in 90 minutes, 26 poses 2 times. And so, that was over, and I went, are you kidding? Man, I'll never do that again. A couple weeks went by, and I liked competition. Even though I'm retired now, I love competing. But why not compete against my own self?
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can do this. I'm going to endure the class. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and just focus on myself And what I realized was that it not only the heat would bring the toxins out of my body, and I would sweat.
Yep.
But also I was concentrating and I was giving my mind a break. In the meantime, my body kept improving to where my quality of life got better. So I kept doing it and I went, oh, wow. So now 20 something years since, I still do it. It's my release. It gives me a chance to invest some time in me so I can be good for others, good for my family, good for my wife. And that's really brought me a peace of mind. And it's made me feel good about going to work. It gives me energy. It continues to help me move forward. So we have to be able to take care of the mind, the body, and the spirit.
You bet.
We got to exercise all of those. There's not one really more important than another, although the spiritual side is. I mean, I believe that myself.
Sure.
You got to take care of all those and exercise all of them. And in the meantime, be happy, because life is so short. We can be here today and gone tomorrow. When I was a ball player, I would tell myself, I need to be thankful for that 0 for 4 I just had, because I got to do it in the big leagues where a lot of people are watching on TV. And I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive home, and I hope nobody runs a stop sign. And I hope nobody runs a light and T-bones me and breaks my hip and I can't play baseball anymore. But that could happen. So I knew that. So that's all part of being thankful for the day and not looking too far into tomorrow. Today's the day and yesterday's gone. Focus on what you can do today and be thankful for it.
That's a great way to approach life. I've got a bunch of students here that are very much observe how you are in the pocket in your job as a broadcaster. Cassidy of Lincoln, Will of Waverly, Zaid of Lincoln, Colby of Raymond, all feel like you are in a job that really suits you, and your enthusiasm is contagious in that sense.
Yes. I just got back from yoga today before we were trying to get on. Sorry we were late. But I got back from yoga today, and I was on my way up the stairs, and I'm on my way here saying, God, can you use me today to help one young person? Just one. If I can help just one young person today, that'd be worth my time and worth the time that you've given me. Nebraska, I love you. Darren Erstad, my buddy. Stad was my teammate. He was my teammate for the Angels after he was a number one. He was 1-1 in all the country. Nebraska's great. I love him. And then he became your coach. And then Alex Gordon, I got to broadcast him and get to know him. And he's another Nebraskan. It just, I got to take a drink because I'm getting emotional.
What's your impression of Nebraska? What do you think of Nebraska, Mr. Hudler?
First class. That's where I want my kids to go. Sure enough, my son William, good baseball player. Darren Erstad, my buddy. Ersty set it up. He went there. I got to see all the beautiful facilities. Your gym, your gymnasium, your fields, your practice fields, everything. I said, man, my son is going to go. This is going to be great for him. Well, it didn't work out for him, so he couldn't go there. But I saw it, went to your football game there in that big, beautiful stadium. And so I got to firsthand see it. And, man, you guys are in great hands. Continue a Nebraska degree. Man, it's good enough for me. If I could go back and do it again, that's where I would go. I'd be a big redhead.
Oh, love it. Love it. You and your wife, Jennifer, founded Team Up for Down Syndrome and have been involved in numerous charitable organizations throughout your life. How important is it for you to be able to give back like that?
It's huge, especially if you're blessed to get to the top of the mountain. Top of the mountain isn't always the best place to be, because you know what's at the top of the mountain? Nothing. Rocks, dead trees, because there's not enough oxygen up there. Nothing grows when you're at the top. But when you ascend and you go back down into the valley, what's down there? Green grass, trees, growth. More growth in the valleys than there at the top. But having been to the top, knowing that that's a great place to be, but that's not the only place to be. So once you get to the top, doesn't mean that you've made it. I mean, you're all set. No, you still have to continue, but it's the mindset of believing that I want to be down there in the valley where the word's fertile. I want to do things for others because in my faith and in my practice, put others before yourself. So when people look at you from being on the top of the mountain, like, wow, you were a 10-year major leaguer. You're a broadcaster for 23 years. Wow. And I'm like, hey, that's no big deal. I'm no better than you. What can I do for you? Wow, man, we'd love for you to be an MC. Well, sure. Give me the words because I'll need words. I mean, I'm not a real smart guy. I'll help you there. Anybody that calls me and says, hey, Hud, I got an issue here with some of these young kids at school. Can you come? Sure, I'll be there. Easy to say yes. Easy to say yes. Hard to say no. Why? Because the influence that God's given me in my positions. Now, like I said, that doesn't make me any better than any of you young people out there. Okay? Stay humble. The game was humbling of baseball. I got humbled all the time. There's a phrase I use. It's called humble pie. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. Everyone. Some only get a few bites, but everyone gets a piece of the pie. Some get the whole pie.
Yeah.
I ingested the whole pie of humble pie. And it's how you ingest it in down through your system, how you ingest that humble pie, and it tastes bitter. Man, I hated to fail there. I hated to flunk that test. I hated that. But you ingest it into yourself, and you say, hey, it's going to make me stronger. All right, I'm better for it. Then that guy becomes a successful failure. Somebody who's okay to be down. It's okay to go, wow, that was tough. But how are you going to resurface? How are you coming back up? You're either a fountain of life for others, you have life for other people, or you're a drain in the world. There's two kinds of people. Drains suck you down. A lot of negativity out there. A lot of negativity. Suck you down. But being a human being, you're going to experience both.
Yeah.
As high as I can be on the mountaintop, as far as my energy and my enthusiasm and my love and stuff, there's times when I get sucked down the drain. You can ask Jennifer, my wife. When I get sucked down the drain too, and I get down there and it's slimy and mucky and really yucky. And so I'm down there for a little while, but the important part is you recycle. You come back up.
Yeah.
You come up and be a fountain again. If you stay down there in that drain long enough, that muck will cover you up and you'll become a negative drain. That'll be who you are. You have to find a way to surface your way up, and that's what you continue to do. Look to love others and look for other people, because my definition of joy, look, and I'm not a preacher, a pastor, or anything. I'm just a human being like anybody else that has learned some things about life, and it's not about me and how I can direct my own life. I told you I went to dead end after dead end after dead end. It's about other. Jesus is J. Others is O. You is Y. What's JOY stand for?
Joy.
There you go. That's the true definition of joy. And if you take that and work that and love him and accept him and move on, he'll help you in life. He'll help you love others. He'll help you do things for others. And the baseball platform as a broadcaster, that makes it easy because they call me and they're like, hey, will you help? Sure. Yes. So to answer to your question of doing so many things for others, that's what it was all about. That's my job. And when I'm done, it won't last forever. Unfortunately, I don't want to cry, but I will now because I want to broadcast forever.
I hope,
but I can't.
Yeah,
but I won't. So when I'm done, I want to be able to look back and go, thank you, God. You gave me opportunities, but I did something with it. I helped others. Thank you for that. I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to have any bitterness.
Sure. It's a great approach to life. And I have to tell you, it's reassuring to know that even you have bad days from time to time and have to struggle that way.
Yes. But you know what? You just, like I said, when you have your bad days, you get sucked down the drain and you're in the drain and you're like, man, it's dark in here. It's smelly and I don't like it. sometimes it takes a few days. It takes a little time to come out of it. And that's just part of life.
Yeah.
When you lose somebody, that's horrible. When you lose somebody close to you out of nowhere, it just happens. Something, an accident happens. Those are moments that take time. You have to take time to grieve. You have to take time to do other things. Like when we had our son Cade. My wife was grieving because of Cade and having to take care of this child the rest of our life, and thinking of things like that. But I wasn't grieving, because all we asked God for was a healthy child, and He gave us Cade. He was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he had an extra chromosome that made him different, but I still had to grieve the dreams of a typical boy. Okay, so my friend helped me with that. I called up my friend. He was an ex-baseball player. His name is Tim Burke. He was a teammate of mine. I said, Berkey, and he and his wife adopted kids with disabilities. One of them became disabled with a heart procedure, became mentally disabled. So I needed to talk to somebody who had a child like mine. And I called Berkey. Berkey, it's Hud. Hey, man, me and Jennifer just had a little boy with Down syndrome. Can you help us? Do you have any advice you can give me? And he goes, yeah, Hud, grieve with Jennifer. I said, grieve what? I'm not upset. No, but you had dreams of your kid driving a car, didn't you? Yeah. You had dreams of the kid being a ball player like his daddy? Yeah. You had dreams of him becoming something great in professional business? Yeah. It's not going to happen. You need to grieve those dreams, Hud. If you don't grieve with your wife, 80% of marriages dissolve when you have a child with a disability. 80%. Don't let that take your marriage, Hud. Thank you, Berkey. Took some advice, not just from the Holy Spirit in my heart, but my friends, others who have gone through it, encouraged me, and I grieved my dreams. And I took a week. I mean, I could have grieved for a longer time, but God brought Jim Abbott into my life. And he's a pitcher, major league pitcher with just one hand. And I started working out next to him, and he goes, Hud, you and Jennifer are great people. You're going to help Cade reach his full potential. So all of a sudden, I'm going, wow, coming from you, Jim Abbott, who threw a no-hitter in the big leagues with one hand, didn't brag about what you did with your disability. He was humble. Yeah. He hit me over the side of the head. That was encouragement. Wow. Thanks, Abby. So God started bringing me out of my grieving process. The time was up. He knew. Being an alpha male, I needed another alpha male to help bring me out. So so I went home and told Jennifer, honey, Kate came to the right place. So that was one of the biggest painful moments in my life. And I'm sharing that with you on how I came out of it. You have to look. Go ahead.
No, I remember the people that you're speaking about, Jim Abbott, and I think Tim Burke was a pitcher from the Expos as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was a relief pitcher.
Yes. Oh, that sounds like terrific support.
Yeah, and it has been. And so you guys are watching me flip my ball on my chest. The ball really I used when I was in the dugout for 21 years. When I went to the booth, I felt like I needed something. I needed a pacifier. The baby has a pacifier when it's crying, and you put a pacifier in the baby's mouth and it calms him. The space ball calms me. Calms me. So I knew I was going to be sharing with you young people today. So I got my baseball out, and during the broadcast, I'll just flip it on my chest like that. I'll just kind of bounce it off my chest and roll it, keep it. And then at the end of the game, I'll go out in the parking lot and I'll see a dad with a kid, with one of his kids, walking to their car. And I'll say, hey, sir, how you doing? He'll go, hey, Hud, how you doing? Good. Did you get a game ball today? No. I go, would you like mine? I got one for you.
Oh, man.
I pull it out of my bag and I give it to that kid. And I said, here, man, here it is. Come back to the K. And, that kid gets so excited. Anybody does when you give him a Major League Baseball. And he'll get in the car with his dad and go, Dad, that was so cool. Can we come back? I want to come back to the ballpark. That's how you make fans. That's how you love on people.
You're awesome.
No, look, it's
Mr.
not
Hudler, you're awesome. That's something else.
about me, but I just want to share you about the little things that you can do for others that make them happy in this business is really fun, because people look up to you and they think you're somebody when really I'm just no better than anybody else. I'm
You're
the same,
very modest.
but I have a great job that he gave me. My job is wonderful. I'm not, but he gives it to me for a purpose. And we're going to continue to look for that purpose every day as I get to go to Guaranteed Rate Field here in Chicago today. In a few more hours, I'm going to the ballpark. How fun is that?
That is terrific. I wonder in the time that we've got left, would you be gracious enough to give us a peek inside of your life? I know you're incredibly busy and you've got a travel schedule, but give us a peek of what your life is like away from the ballpark. What are your tastes in things like reading and music and movies?
I listen to music from pretty much mostly my day.
What kind do you?
The 70s, the 80s.
What are some bands that you like?
Oh man, you know what? All the groups that came out in the 70s were all proteges of the Beatles in the 60s.
Yeah.
The 60s, the Beatles were the only major rock band there was. But then here comes the Who. Here comes Led Zeppelin. Here comes, Peter Frampton. Here comes gosh, I love Little River Band. Here come the Eagles. Here comes Supertramp.
Yeah.
Groups to start evolving to where the music was amazing, and they were experimenting guitars and bringing in pianos, and everything was built off of what the Beatles did. So these people Michael Jackson loved the Beatles. Okay, he evolved. Elton John was a tremendous artist. So all these guys were born and they surface, and their music never gets old. So I love music on the road when I'm on the road. I love going out in the cities on an off day and people watch. Go out, hang out. I might be at a restaurant and I'm gonna go hang out. I'm gonna find a good spot where I can sit there and watch people. People are the most amazing creatures in the world. And it's interesting to me. I'll pass the time on an off day and go have a dinner somewhere. Pretty much, sometimes some of my broadcast partners I'll go out with, during lunch or something. But for the most part, when I go home, I miss a lot of my kids growing up because I was gone all summer doing baseball. So I spent time in the off season with them. And my wife, she does all the work. Baseball wives don't get any. It's an unglamorous job. Very unglamorous.
Sure.
They have to do everything. They raise the kids. They pay the bills. They take care of the house. Anything that goes wrong, they move. They call the moving van. They pack the house. They move. And where am I? I'm playing ball. I'm out playing ball, having fun, doing my thing because I can't miss. So I go home in the off season and I don't go to the golf course. I don't go fishing on hunting trips or anything like that, because if I did that, I wouldn't have a marriage. I'm gone all summer. So I pour into my wife, because my wife is the most important thing I have on this earth. She is the most important thing I have, my wife. And I will do everything I can to protect that. And honey, I'll just take care of Cade today. You sleep in. I got him. I'll take him to work. I'll do this with the other kids. You just lay low. I'll clean the house. I'll do all of it today. You just go out and hang out with some of your friends and get away. That's how you keep your partner happy when you have a job like I do.
Sure.
I do like golf. I like to golf. I love fishing. Crappie fishing is the most fun, because my great grandpa took me when I was a kid, and I had my great grandfather till I was 26 years old.
Wow.
My grandpa, my uncle, we all would fish in little lakes, and we would catch these crappie, these 17-inch crappie, which were big, and they tasted so good. And we would hang out, have a couple of beers, and eat some fish, and just enjoy life and enjoy what comes out of the waters and what falls out of the sky, hunting and fishing. So the outdoors is what I like to do a lot.
Okay.
So little things like that. I love going to Chiefs games in the off season too. That's fun. I'm not a big reader. I am reading more though, because
Okay.
I know when you read, it helps your mind, and you can develop new words and things. And you all know I need new words.
You make up some great words. You've got a language all to your own that we all love.
They're Hudisms.
Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Mr. Hudler, I can't tell you how much we've enjoyed being with you today. You've made an impact on so many students' lives here.
You think?
I hope, oh, I know it for a fact, and I hope that one day that I will be able to shake your hand.
Come to
That
the
would be
K.
that would be a tremendous honor for me sometime.
I'll leave you tickets.
Oh, you're something else.
I'll come down and see you.
Just
And I'd
to,
love to shake your hand. To
just
give me an
to,
opportunity to share with your Nebraska Cornhuskers student body and whoever's listening, unless they got nauseous and they tuned out.
oh,
Look,
no, we've been waiting for this for a long time.
Privilege for me, a privilege to be able to share and hopefully encourage somebody through something. To not look at yourself, don't look way deep in yourself. Look out for others. And you know what I found out too when I struggled in baseball and I was terrible?
What's that?
I would go to the ballpark and I would encourage my teammates. Hey, you're going to get him tonight. You look really good. You're a good looking young player, man. You hang right in there. And you know, when I encouraged others, it took the thoughts off of me. Poor me. Nuh-uh. No room for pouting. When you encourage others, takes the thoughts off yourself. Does that make sense?
It sure does. I would just like to be around you, just in hopes that a little bit rubs off that way. You've got a remarkable approach to life, and you are just awesome.
What a day for me today. It'll take me some time. Now I'm going to have to go eat lunch. It'll take me a while to kind of calm down a little bit after this great opportunity, Dan. And then I don't get to go to the ballpark. It's raining here today. I don't know what'll happen with the game, but it doesn't matter because I can't control that. And I can't control a lot of things that go on in life. But you know what I can control? I can control what I put in my body with my eyes, what I read. Am I going to read internet garbage? Am I going to read smut material? Am I going to put pornography inside of my body? Am I going to allow that to come in? No, because that could come between my relationship with me and my wife. So what goes in here? What goes in my ears? I want to control what goes in my ears. Am I listening to some news or some stuff that really is bringing me down? No, I don't want to listen to that, so I don't. And then I watch what I put in my mouth, and I watch what comes out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Sure does.
I can control that. So many things in the world we can't. Control what you can, and you'll be just fine. But control it with the right controllers.
You bet. That's terrific advice. Well, we want to thank you so much for being with us. I'll look for you tonight on at the game as well. I told you we tune in to watch you, Mr. Hudler, and a baseball game always seems to break out.
Yeah, but look, no, don't listen to me. Just watch the product, and I only try to share something when it's necessary. So too much talk is not good. So you got to just wait and give them meat when something good happens. But hey, I appreciate you letting me share my life with you, Dan, and anybody else who's listening. Go Royals. Look, 100th loss yesterday. Folks, I see some really good players out there, and my eyes tell me a lot because I've been trained in baseball for so many years. We've got some players, Bobby Baseball, Garcia. We've got a great infield. Our infield's the best infield in baseball. Now management's going to have to go out. They're going to have to get a pitcher or two. We got to get some bullpen help, a little bit of starting pitching going on there. But, man, it won't be long. And in our division, worst to first is doable.
Love it. Love it. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Way to go, Dan. You guys all have a great day today. And
Okay,
remember,
you too.
today's the day. Yesterday's gone, and tomorrow's not here yet. So today's the day.
Let's do it, partner.
All right. See you
Okay.
guys.
Take care.
Thank you.